Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ryam. I'm looking at signs now today. You are the kind of person other people rightfully trust and feel safe around. You have the patience of a saint. Scoot is number one, and Randall, I can't quite see yours. Thank you, DM, and lots of...
For being
God,
our
that actually is
DM.
a fucking picture of me.
Next!
Oh, Scoot, love titties, you, we, the Gaffer.
We probably should have actually put ourselves in order when we were doing this part, but
Yeah.
you know.
No, I think it's better this way.
It's more us.
So
Get your
reading-
Dakota ring.
I think what's supposed to be is, we love you, Scoot, but so you know it goes, Scoot, love you, we, everyone at home. The way I'm singing in Discord. Thank you, Gaffers. That was a thing I needed this week. Alright, everyone. Now that we've gotten that tradition out of the way, welcome back to Ryam. As we always do, going to introduce ourselves, who we are, what we're about. This week's question I posed the Gaffers is, if your character's gang were to open a business, right, for, you know, entrepreneurial reasons, what would your character, what kind of business would they open, and how would they employ your friends? Now, your friends are going to work there willingly, but what jobs would you give them, and, you know, what would they be doing? So take it away.
Would they?
Okay, so I actually immediately knew my answer. Allie would have an aerial arts studio, so like a place that teaches like aerial silks, trapeze, lyra,
Love
things
it.
like that. Kiki would obviously be in charge of making the rigs, the increasingly elaborate contraptions from which people hang, modifications to existing structures to make it possible for people to practice at home, etc. I would absolutely have Tessa working at my front desk. Tessa's natural charm and friendliness is a great way to put newcomers at ease. And I have no doubt whatsoever that Nikki would wind up teaching a class in some way, shape, or form, but Nikki would probably be teaching, like, the pole class.
Yes.
Bosco would be our resident therapy dog, because who doesn't want a therapy dog around?
Obviously.
And I guess Thrax would be security? I don't know. Thrax would probably be teaching a course, too, let's be honest. He'd figure out a way to teach a
I
course.
also feel like he's gonna go like fly up and grab the scared people that don't like freeze up.
There we go. He'll be our
That's a
rescue
great idea.
supervisor.
I'm going to go next because it's actually kind of similar. But I also thought of mine right away. I'm Deb. I play Tessa. I'm actually circling back around to the original idea that Robert actually gave me for the name of Tessa's like combination training facility / coffee, and naming it Coffee Training Grounds.
Oh,
So it would be a combination like training facility, with like a coffee, snack, smoothie bar. And Tessa would definitely, like, she'd be managing it, but she'd also making sure the customers are happy, doing some training with them. The family would kind of help bring in baked goods and snacks. Thrax would be helping her and doing ranged weapon training. Bosco, obviously the mascot and all-around Jim Korg.
Jim Korg.
Gotta have a Jim Korg. Gotta.
Jim Korg. Allie would definitely, I see her doing like a lot of personal training and some of the cooler classes. So that's kind of also in line with, I guess, the rope training stuff. Kiki would definitely be helping out like designing cool new equipment and like training dummies that like could explode and like I'm sure there's like a million different types of like gym equipment and training equipment that she could use her skills for. And
I hope you like obstacle courses, because Kiki would be all about that
Absolutely.
life. She'd be all about that
Absolutely.
life.
Now,
it would
are
probably like change every month.
are they made by her intentionally, or is just so much shit being thrown around that like it just sort of happens?
Yes.
Yes?
It can be both.
My apologies for asking such a silly question.
And Nikki, I think, I thought this would be cool, is to do something like they do in Haven, like the Magic and Might situation, where she could help the like strong, like the warrior type, learn how to work with mages, like how they can work together.
yeah.
Oh, I
And
think
I
my
dig that.
defense against the dark arts.
kind of.
How do you
So
dodge a fireball?
I think with her knowledge of magic, she might be able to help, somebody that's maybe more sword oriented, like make sure you take care of your mages and stay out of the range of the blast of the spells. And yeah, that was my idea.
I'll go next because there's kind of an interesting through line there. Hello, I'm Robert. I play Nikki Doxborn, the human wizard. And I thought of not so much the fighting part, but just a straight up like fancy third wave coffee shop. So I was imagining that I would be the that Nikki would be sort of the like primary barista doing like the weird like elaborate pour over setups and stuff, very like potion-y. Tessa's wait staff, obviously, greeter and also obviously in charge of like pastry acquisitions. Ali on register and when needed security, and Kiki would be in charge of the dishwasher, not washing dishes, but making the dishwasher. I want a
To build
badass,
a better-
ridiculous robot dishwasher. If it terrifies the customers, all the better.
I was gonna say she would try to probably end up building like a sentient automaton dishwasher or something
Yeah.
like that. Who would go table to table, just load themselves with dishes and wash them in front of them. It could happen.
Named Reginald.
I guess that leaves me. I'm Randall, and I play Kiki, the Kinku Tinkerer. And I thought about like a serious answer, but I think what would be really fun as a business is to have like a traveling carnival. So somewhat similar to Kate's idea. So obviously, Ali would be the acrobatics act, high wire, trapeze, all that good stuff. We'd probably build in something where like she would seem to fall, but then like transform into a fox midway down and then be like, ta-da, or something like that, something really grand. Tessa would be the strong woman, with feats of strength and also aerial shows. I think we could work in something you and maybe Thrax doing like some kind of like Blue Angels type stuff or
I
something.
keep forgetting I have wings.
Oh my goodness.
That's a very Tessa and a very Deb statement.
Yes.
Actually. And then Nikki would obviously be like the magic act, although I was thinking like, what does the magic act look like in a D&D world where people know magic exists? But I trust that she'd come up with something stellar and
David Blaine
we'll work
style.
around it. Yeah. Kiki herself would...
I feel like it could be pretty similar. Like instead of like, it's still
Yeah.
sleight of hand, but instead of like, look at the coin disappear, it's like, oh my god, she just cast prestidigitation. I didn't see a single, like nothing there looked like somatics. Like,
There you go. Kiki herself would design the rides that people could go on. You might need to steer her away from making too many rides based on a trebuchet model, because I think that I don't know if we'd actually get insurance for some of these rides.
So you know
Tessa
that,
can
like,
fly up and grab them.
Yeah, but like that slingshot thing you see at boardwalks is the
Yes.
first one. Kiki just like the people just go, and you're like, "Well, are they coming back down, Kiki?" And you're like, "Oh,
Wait.
Eventually,
yeah."
she starts explaining gravity. She's like, "Yeah, of course they'll come down."
They signed the waiver. It's okay.
and
It's a hell of a waiver.
then Bosco would wait for it, be the barker to bring people in at the front of the carnival crowd.
Oof.
So yeah, I got a groan, but not a face palm. So the night's
I
young.
hate it so much. Speaking of young knights, we had a very eventful night last night, didn't we, Gaffers? As we, after taking care of that whole assassination situation, or at least we thought we did, we went to a night of revelry where some people had a very good time with a small lizard folk person making a tower of pint glasses and glasses, which Nikki destroyed. Some of us got laid by werewolves, which Nikki helped with. Some of us just got to sit back and enjoy the show. Nikki didn't really have a hand in that one, Deb. But one of us is in a bit of a sticky situation currently.
Rob, I need to say Dude, I need to say something to Rob before we continue. Rob, I need you to know something that Scoot disclosed to me after hours last time.
Okay.
Which is that the person you're currently sleeping with originally wasn't there to murder you. They were just going to be like a very nice NPC for you to hook up with. And you kept being so suspicious that Scoot was like, yes,
I knew it.
they are in fact going to try and kill you now.
I figured
Oh,
that was
was-
I can't even
Either
be
that-
sad about that. It's
didn't
too
figure
good.
it
It's
out.
too juicy.
Well, or either that or the sex was just so bad that.
Oh, that's a deep cut.
Ouch!
So that's not. I didn't entirely tell you the truth, Kate.
Oh,
I am
Our
aware.
DM obfuscating, lying,
No.
shenanigans.
No. But Nikki Doxborn, or Lady Liege, Nikki Doxborn finds herself after a good night of sexual
Or
intercourse.
so she thinks.
So you think.
So she
Of
thinks.
scissoring her timbers, as they probably used to say in Knots and Bentos. Finds herself with a blade to her throat as Nikki, you wake up, and things are very different from the room that you went to sleep in. Everything is wreathed in a weird mistiness, half bathed in shadow as you look outside, and the sun should be there. It's very close to dawn, but the light is nowhere to be seen. There's this sort of weird gray orb in the sky, and all is shadow, including
Okay.
the creature who's standing before you with a gleaming blade at your throat.
Okay, a few questions right off the bat. Is this a ethereal plane, shadow plane, anything that I recognize?
Just a plain
Make a
plane?
history check.
Are there any snakes on this plane? That's a nat one.
Oh,
Ooh.
There's a blade at your
I was
throat. You don't
I
have
was
fucking time.
punished for that one.
Yeah, you were. There's a lot of panic. That blade is sharp.
Yeah.
As you
mhm.
feel the edge
Okay.
of it just begin to pierce the skin. Not enough to start like hitting anything major, but enough to show you that this blade is sharp, and this person means business.
Go, Jesus. What? What's going on?
Hello.
Does that sound anything like my partner of the night prior?
No, this is a very deep male voice.
Okay. I gotta check a note for what happened to Nell.
She's not there.
That was out loud.
oh.
Oh.
To the deep male voice.
The deep male voice. It informs you she's fine. She's not involved in this.
There's a little bit of relief in Nikki's stance. There's still a blade in her throat, so not very much relief, but a little bit. Where are we?
You're in my home.
Who are you with the assassins? Because that got called. I don't know if you got the memo, but
No.
cool. Do you maybe want to move that?
No.
Okay.
Well, if you'd like, I can oblige you. And he pushes in a little bit more.
I kind of do my best to make my throat as small as possible in a slightly choked voice. I'm like, no, it was okay before.
Beautiful. And he pulls back a little bit.
What do you want?
The top of so he's standing above you, and he seems a very tall, lithe, kind of male-shaped individual.
Okay.
And you see down comes the head with this massive cloak over, like this hood and cloak around him, and the hood comes up enough where a face should be. There is not but blackness, and then two
Awesome.
eyes open that are nothing but red. It looks like red smoke that is just coalescing where I should be.
Ah. Ah.
I'm here to deliver you a warning. Darkspawn,
Okay.
leave the mountain. It's ours.
It's whose?
And he just steps back. The blade comes away from your throat. And then as his arm recedes back towards him, it looks like a very long robe. He doesn't put the blade away; it just sort of melds back up in like Ezio's knives from Assassin's Creed. But you don't hear like the sound, so it's not like
There's no little sneak. Yeah.
the blade just seems to travel on its own as if it's being pulled up into where his probably forearm would be. And as the arm that has this very long robe, as he brings it towards his torso, it just melds into his body where you don't know where the arm and the torso start.
Yikes. Okay. Message received.
Good. And as a reminder, he takes his... you feel a cut come across your neck. Again, nothing important, but enough to leave a bit of a scar towards the base of like where your chest starts, deep enough that it's going to scab.
Ooh.
And then you snap awake. You're in your bed, very cold sweat.
Nell's bed?
Yeah, Nell's bed, where she is. She's sleeping soundly, but you feel blood right at the base of your neck and chest. Not a lot. It's not gushing out, but a deep enough cut that will leave a scar is there. The other thing is that there is tinges of blackness and shadow sort of coming off of the wound that eventually stop with smoke.
Okay, I imagine I do like the dramatic like sit up in bed from a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
Like I look out the window.
Make a perception check.
Is there a hint of sunlight coming up? I'm praying. Nat 20.
Okay.
Which is a total of 20.
The sun is rising and the light is normal. It seems to be affecting things as it should. But as it crests over the eastern horizon, you begin to see that something is forced into the light. And it is a cloaked figure that's standing with his arm outstretched as if he's controlling some type of magic. And when he sees you see him, the hand goes down, the face comes up to you, and for a moment you see the red eyes open along with a big red smile that have some teeth, but not all of them. You blink for a moment and vanished. As the light of dawn now begins to dominate the sky a bit more.
Okay. Was that did I recognize that as like Dream? Could Dream do that like physical harm manifestation thing? I as a player don't actually remember how it works, but I'm hoping Nikki might.
Make an Arcana check.
I'm pretty good at those usually. It's a total of 26.
Yeah, it's possible that if you die in the dream, you can die for real. Like Nikki, those are possible things. Although it takes quite substantial amounts of power to affect you purely via the dream. It's also possible that he had you in some sort of magic trance and then he physically bamfed into the room, cut you, and then left for dramatic purposes. That's also very possible.
Okay.
So you're just not sure. One is probably pretty unsettling. The other is even more unsettling because it would bespeak to this person's level of power.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Can't believe Nikki's still not in the habit of putting up tiny hut before fucking.
That would be a weird thing to explain to your partner, though, that you're meeting for maybe the first time. Look, I know this may sound weird, but I have to do this.
There's been a precedent.
I think if you're like, this is what I need to feel safe to really let go,
I have my favorite
Don't-
pillows in there.
That's right. Don't kink shame my hut.
That's true. So what do you
That
do?
is an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, upgrade my hut to like a love nest, get all like squishy pillows and
I'm sorry, I think you're upgrading it to a love shack, in fact.
Baby.
baby love shack.
It's just a little old place where we can get together.
Yeah.
This is why Scoot tries to murder us.
This is why I make Death Mountain a thing. This is why.
I thought
Well,
the
now we
Vrock,
have
but
Death
it wasn't a
Mountain version
Vrock.
too.
It was a Vrock monster. Boy, I will go to the bathroom and clean off my neck as best I can. Get a little, flush it out, soap and water.
Yep. So you flush it out, and like the wound is clean, Nikki, but the smoke, the little wisps of shadow are still coming off of it.
Ooh, okay, that's fucky. I will. Is Nell still like dead asleep?
She's dead ass asleep.
Okay.
She
I'm
spent
gonna
a lot
write.
of time on boats, so she can probably sleep through most things.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna write her a note
Mm-hmm.
to the tune of "Super lovely, had a great time. Here's how to reach me. Something came up. Got a roll. But this was great. Let's meet again next time I'm in town, please." And then run to my inn.
Okay.
Like full dead
Full
sprint.
bore. Are you trying to message your friends or anything like that as you get there?
Nah, I'm not thinking that clearly yet.
Okay. So, Nikki, you tear ass there. Up and awake at the inn at this point, I'm going to say Allie is probably a bit sleepy boots at the moment. Kiki and Tessa can be awake if they would like to be.
Yeah, they'll probably be awake.
Yes.
Oh, I'll be awake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kiki, you're looking out the window and you see Nikki just huffing it. Full bore sprinting towards the inn.
Wait, Nikki, did you get dressed or anything? Like you just said you started. Like,
I got dressed.
Okay. So Kiki's not wise to the ways of like sentient beings mating and stuff, so she's not sure, is this like a post-sex run? Like, is this a run of shame? Like, so
The
she's a
victory
little
lap. Like, what is this?
yeah, like,
Should lose a dare.
I know. So she's a little on guard. She's got like yellow alert. So she'll through the Snapchat bracelet, she'll be like, Nikki incoming.
Tess will look up from her bacon and see Nikki enter as well.
Okay, I'll run in, kind of like heaving for breath a little bit, and see that Tessa is up. I look down. Is my wound still smoking a little bit?
Yeah, it is healing as it should. Like,
right,
you feel like it's not bleeding, it's starting to kind of scab, but there's always these little wisps of smoke or shadow coming off of it.
Okay.
Do I notice that, or does Nikki?
Well, you're about to, because I run
Okay.
straight to you and go like, "Have you ever seen anything like this?"
And Tessa's just like, oh my goddess, what happened to you? Did you get attacked?
Yes.
And she kind of like immediately like puts her hand out to do like a lay on hands of the wound.
Yeah, as soon as Tessa's divine magic hits it, the smoke stops, as if driven away.
Nice.
It looks like
Thanks,
this
Alora.
might scar though. This is
Chicks dig scars.
Yeah,
I should
true,
know.
but what happened?
Okay, so I went to Nell's last night, like I told y'all. That went fine. Actually went super great. But Woke up to I was in some kind of nega world fuckery.
Do you describe what you see to your friends, like what you saw?
Yeah.
Everybody, make me a history, religion, or arcana check, please.
14 on religion.
What was that?
Now that I've had
14
some
on religion.
divine
10 on Arcana.
25 Arcana.
Woo!
So
Now that I've had some
I did old
divine
school
healing
with
and a little
dice.
bit to like feel safe, I'm with my friends. Do I get to make another check at this, or am I still
yeah,
nah?
go ahead, make an arcana check.
Yeah. I want to use that plus 12 instead of my history plus 4. It's only a 20. Okay.
Okay.
Total.
So Allie is still like Allie has come back in, but
Trash.
she's walking a little funny. You know, she's a little sore, a little tired. Really probably looking for
When I
some
see
water
her
this
kind
morning.
of like, you know, like horseback legs her way into the room, I'm just gonna give her quick finger guns, even as I'm otherwise freaking out.
Salute. And then notice that something is fucky with your neck.
Yeah.
So
I'm like, all right, hold on.
notices from those checks that from what Nikki has described, she might have very well been taken to the Shadowfell itself, or at least a part of it. Which is
Can that happen? Can you just pull somebody into the Shadowfell?
yeah, your aunt goes to the Astral Sea on whims.
That's true.
So like other beings have the ability to take you to other realms. It's
So-
hard to do if you're unwilling, but you can do it.
Apparently
so
possible.
Kiki makes a note in her notebook to never have sex because there's a high risk that you can get pulled into the
Take the Shadowfell.
Based on this data point, she's
Kiki
like,
is not quite tracking, and she's like, "Ooh, unfortunate side effect."
yeah, she's
Yeah.
like, I think this risk is like it's an STI or something. She's like, I
Yeah.
think this is like
It
two
was-
of my friends hooked up last night. and
Doc,
one
I
got
came
pulled to
down with a real
Shadowfell.
bad case of Shadowfell.
So she's like,
So how in depth is Nikki's description of like what it said to her?
Relatively brief to start with, although what it said pretty clear as best as I can remember, which is it said it was not with the Assassin's Guild, but it had a warning for me: stay off the mountain, away from the mountain, out of the mountain, move away from the mountain, something like that. It's ours.
Something preposition, not mountain.
Something, fuck you, my mountain. He said ours, not mine.
Everybody is like really interested in this mountain.
Yeah, I mean, there's a very important thing in it, you know.
The UN,
The
Friendship
UN is-
Temple.
yeah, is in there.
I basically feel like it could potentially bring unity and like friendships there, and like she'd be all about like bringing people together across nations. And
People think Torg's down there.
So there's a thing that Kate knows it isn't, but Allie might think it is. So Allie's gonna get kind of quiet and kind of pale, and just start writing a letter.
writing a letter in the middle of this, your friend
Writing a
comes
letter.
back, had her throat like a line across it with wisps of smoke.
Yep.
We're all trying to comfort her, and you just like pull out parchment and a quill.
Yep.
To be fair, isn't that the Kiki move?
Oh, that's true.
Kiki's like, hey, don't fucking muscle in on my territory.
This is my
like,
gimmick, God damn it.
I know. He's like, you're using my notebook thing now? Like, that's my, like...
She
My
doesn't
thing.
write much.
Here,
It's kind of
sister.
short, but she's gonna look over it and again and say, and you're sure that you don't feel any different currently, other
My
than
neck kind of
what?
hurts.
Tessa, make a medicine check.
I'm gonna make a medicine check.
Actually, I was gonna say, Scoot, do I feel different other than the cut on my?
You're about to
That's
find out.
that's a 10. That's not great. my med-
She looks okay. That shadow stuff is gone, but given this, you might want to get her to a more Healy cleric. I mean, you know a bit, but you're not your aunt.
I can bring her here. I can ask her to come here.
Okay, you can do that if you would like.
Sure.
Okay.
I'll use the necklace to I want to consult with her first, like see like what do you think?
Call your 24/7 teledoc nurse hotline.
Pretty much. I think we're in the same time zone because we're just north of her.
You are.
So
Rhyme is around, much like the Earth is. And I can't believe I have to make that statement as like a potential political thing.
Scoot, you might have to help me on this one because I don't know the answers to the questions, and it might be hard for me to talk to myself on the phone.
So what questions do you want to ask your aunt?
I want to explain the situation, like what happened, the wisps of smoke coming off. I want to make sure that Nikki is going to be okay, or do you want to take a look at her?
Do you explain the full situation?
What do you mean by the full situation?
Like what they said, stay away from the mountain, what's under the mountain.
Oh, yeah.
She will arrive because this is something in her wheelhouse. So what you see, all of you just sort of see two beings arrive. One you've seen before, that very handsome, except now he's pretty much just wearing chaps. He's wearing chaps, though there are shorts on underneath them, so they're not technically. Well, all chaps are assless. It's just, are you wearing something underneath them? And a vest, just like all of the warriors, like no undershirts, just a vest. These hugely angelic wings. Do you want to describe what the female tiefling looks like, Deb?
Right. So, standing next to him is actually almost a smaller version of Tessa. So Neri is about 5'3", so she's pretty short. She's very curvy. She, of course, is wearing the traditional Aloran boob window. She has long blue hair, orange eyes that kind of look like stars and sparkles in them, and two sets of golden ethereal wings and a halo above her head.
Yeah, Neri.
Oh, hey guys. It seems like you had an interesting morning. Would you like some cookies?
Yes.
Some doshniches?
Yeah.
I'm answering for everyone and saying yes. Just trust me.
And she just she reaches into her cleavage and pulls out an entire box of doshniches and cookies and kind of puts them on the table.
Allie, despite looking somewhat distressed in general, looks significantly happier at this development.
Kiki's trying to look down her cleavage, not for anything like, there's nothing skeevy about it. She's just fascinated by how did you pull a whole box out of there? So she's just about the same height as her, maybe like a little taller. So she's like she's not she's not trying to be inappropriate. She's just like, how does that work?
Neri laughs a lot and she kind of jiggles and she's like, and she like titters a little bit. She's like, it's a family secret.
Ooh.
Impressed. Sorry, not to be a bother, but can you just check and make sure that Nikki's not possessed by anything?
I sure can.
Anyone?
Now, Nikki, there's a couple things I can do. But I want to have your permission to do it because I usually don't do this kind of thing without consent. I can just give you a physical overview, or I can actually go into your mind and see if something has been left behind or if somebody is possessing you.
I kind of look to Tessa and go nod with a question face.
So Tessa says, "Oh yeah. She's a really powerful empath, so think of kind of like a psionic but with emotions, and she's like Alora's right hand wing, boobs. I don't know. But no, you can trust her.
Just the one. Just the one.
Just the one. That's her favorite boob. So yeah. You can
go ahead.
You can trust her.
Should I sit down for this or?
Yeah, I would sit down. It's not going to hurt at all. It'll feel a little warm. I try to be as gentle as possible, and I won't go poking around in your head or in your emotions. I just want to see if somebody left something there.
Poke around where you need to, and I'll just sit down. There's chairs here, probably.
Yeah, there's chairs here.
Okay, I'll sit in a chair.
So,
kind of take a deep breath, like I'm at the doctor for a shot, and I don't like to see the needle. I close my eyes and turn to the side a little bit.
So reach over and squeeze your hand.
Yeah, so one thing is that Neri can't really turn off is that because of the nature of her empathy, she can feel what you're feeling as well. So she's going to, just kind of put a hand on your shoulder. She's like, it's going to be okay. No matter what happens, we're going to make sure that you're fine and well on your way and protected.
And weirdly, like, Nikki, you've heard that spiel many times in your life. Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. But there's something as these words ring out from this big titty tiefling's mouth that, like, your fear is gone. For some, you're like, I should feel nervous right now, but I literally do not, and I don't feel like I can. You feel calm and serene as you see the male Balinor come over, kind of sit you down, put his hands on your shoulders and start giving you like a little bit of massage to kind of calm you down. Kiki, you see he's also casting a spell, like a healing spell to make sure she's actually okay to think. He's not sure if like Tessa has enough juice to like really get rid of this thing, like at least from the physical aspect, and he seems like a much higher level paladin than she is.
Oh yeah, so, like by like 15 levels.
So, by the way, Kiki heard that Nikki might be possessed, and she just sort of nodded quietly, and she moved sort of behind Nikki, and Kiki's like has one hand on her boomstick. She's sort of like is there some like she doesn't cocked at her. She's like she might be possessed. Like, what is this fuckery? So that's all.
It might not necessarily be something like a possession. She does seem in her right mind, but there are beings that can leave traces with you undetected. You might not even know you're carrying another being with you. We've seen that before quite frequently, and sometimes it can be benevolent, but most of the times it is not. So it's better just to check.
It's a lot like the clap, Balinor says.
I think weirdly that would probably make Nikki feel a little bit better. She's like, okay, I understand that part. Yeah, that makes sense. Checks out.
Okay, so Neri will go in and as she's kind of, touching your shoulder, she will kind of like, her eyes will kind of glow a little bit, and she will go into your head and poke around a little bit.
She's in your head.
Zombie.
Inside,
someone had to do it.
Yeah,
obviously.
Inside Neri. So what is Nikki's sort of base like limbo unconscious look like, Rob?
It's the common room of the dorm at her old university.
Okay, so in there, Neri, you're kind of looking around. I mean, you've done this many times for many different people. You're used to seeing a lot of things. Everything looks fairly normal once you get a feel for the place, but there's something that looks wrong, as there is a fire in the hearth, but there's a shadow off one of the chairs that is not correct. Like it is too long and not going quite the right direction from where the light source is.
It's like an artist that like slightly didn't get the perspective right.
Yeah,
I'm thinking like a Slender Man situation.
Yeah, it's wrong, and with your senses, you've done spotted it. You know where it is.
Is it like a conscious thing?
Yeah, it is.
Can I speak to it?
Actively hiding from you.
I'm gonna seek it out. I'm gonna try to bring it forth.
With your power, because again, Neri is beyond level 20. You can tell it is malignant. It is meaning to harm Nikki, and will probably eventually try to take control of her. Like, this is a bad thing. This is not something you're going to negotiate with.
Then, given that, she's going to try to instantly destroy it.
Okay.
While maintaining the rest of Nikki's soul.
Yeah. So your divine power, just you folks see Nikki, you're kind of just hanging out there and everything's fine. And then her face erupts as if she has a candle in her mouth for a second of just radiant light, as this from her like where her like third eye quote unquote would be, this sort of protrusion comes, like a really big zit, except it's black, and it gets forced out onto the ground. At which point you see the male tiefling Balinor pull up a sword and just drive it into the floorboards. deep and hard. The blade goes in probably about an inch into the floor, and you hear this thing shriek and convulse as it tries to get away, but it seems to be pinned by the sword. And he did that almost instantaneously. Like, Allie, you know these people, and like, it was one of those things where if you weren't a monk, you don't know if you would have seen that. Like, you're used to watching things move fast. It was just almost intense, as if he knew it was coming from... Somehow he knew that was coming.
Yeah. Allie's about a second or so behind him in, Stormlight up. She is glowing.
Yep. You see,
because she is fast as a monk, but like not as fast as an empathically connected,
Arc Paladin.
Arc Paladin husband and wife couple.
Right. And you see him, his hand begins to glow with radiant light as he reaches down and grips this thing by what could be the neck, but it's just a kind of a mass of, if you've seen in cartoons, like when ink becomes sentient and alive, he just kind of has it in his hand. And you see him look to his wife and go, got it.
So Neri's kind of got one eye on the outside, and she's got one eye still kind of in Nikki's mind. Is everything else okay in there, or am I okay to leave?
Everything else this room is clean.
Okay. Is there anything I can do to help protect Nikki, like a ward of some sort or a charm?
At this point, you can functionally give blessings that'll help her for a while, probably, to prevent this kind of thing again. You also might want to send... you remember that over at Draka Arcana, your friend Briseis got something to help her with this type of shenanigans. Right. So that might be a good place to go.
So I think what I will do is I will give Nikki the temporary blessing, and I'll come back out and I'll say, well, it's a good thing you checked. That thing was going to probably overtake your mind at some point. So whoever is attacking you is serious business, and unfortunately, that's kind of the name of the game once you start getting powerful. But I put a sort of ward on it, but it won't last for long. I recommend maybe going to Draka Arcana in Anshin, and they can provide you a more sturdy charm that you can that will last a little bit longer.
Neri, do you know what kind of thing this is or where it came?
It looks like Shadowfell. I'm correct in that assumption.
Yeah,
right?
this is from
okay. Just make sure.
Yeah,
no, this is definitely from Shadowfell.
Yeah, you see Balnor has it and goes, and you see him radiate light, and it pulses and it stops moving. It looks like it kind of gave up, though. It's not dead. And he goes, does anyone want to try to talk to it, or am I just burning it?
I kind of wanna, actually, yeah. It's like I get to talk with your cancer. I'm gonna kind of lean towards it a little bit and just be like, what are you? Who do you work for? Nikki doesn't really know what to ask.
Yeah, so
she's a little thrown by this whole experience.
Right. So at first nothing happens, and then the angel man sends another wave of radiant energy into it, and then it decides to cooperate. And you see from right above where his hand's holding it, 2 sets of red glowing eyes appear.
I recoil a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Were you the one in the dream?
No. Master sent me.
Master was the one in the dream. Why?
You must be stopped.
Consider talking to me before going to the threatening?
Bypass, go right to threatening.
I'm normally pretty easy going. If the hot tub plan's going to be a problem, I'm sure I could do some other developments.
Ah.
It looks at you and goes, "Too late. It's begun."
Ooh.
What's begun?
The friendening, it says.
Oh my! The deep dramatic way.
Friends for the friend god.
Hugs for the
For the
hug
friend
throne.
god, yes.
This thing looks terrifying.
Hugs for the hug throne.
Like, this thing's looking at you as if you're bringing forth its personal Ragnarok.
Well, I guess we kind of are, considering where it's from.
So
Who do you work
Kiki
for?
will be-
Are you guys with Torg?
Nah. Bigger than Torg, my dear.
Do you work?
Kiki will be. Go ahead.
Do you work for something that came from this plane first?
Long ago.
How long ago?
Long ago. It came from the sea above. And it says Vol, and then once it begins that, Balinor gives it, just gone.
Wait,
Vol?
He
what's
wasn't
wrong?
done talking.
I raise an
I know,
eyebrow
I
at Balinor.
He disintegrates it with radiant magic.
Oh, god damn it! I had a question.
And he looks upset at what that thing was about to say.
Would Neri know what it was?
Yeah.
As well? Okay.
Hang on.
So she will
I'll
look
look at-
equally disturbed.
Is there any
I'll look
chance
at-
Allie would know what the second half of that sentence was going to be?
Make an insight check.
Can I tell, like, did Balinor, can I tell, did he not want us to hear what it was going to say? Or did it just, like, shock him so much he just, like, reflexively squeezed kind of a thing, you know?
He reflexively just disintegrated it.
28.
Okay. Whew.
To make your uncle that concerned, this has to be something from the astral sea. It has to be from or referring to. And there are only probably 2 of those particular spots on the astral wheel that would freak him out. One is the abyss and the 9 hells. This thing was not a demon. The other thing that, having been around the Benkala family as long as you have and knowing their exploits, the other place that they would be concerned about is a place called Valhita. Valhita is a plane that is the sort of like if you're.
It is not, in fact, full of fajitas, unfortunately.
No.
Damn it!
That would be delicious.
There is an element of being a fajita somewhere.
There is.
World, it exists. I guarantee it.
But all the sections of the astral wheel tend to correspond with the various alignments, but some gray areas in the middle as you overlap. Valhita is the neutral evil plane. So it is where the minions and Myers go. It itself, as Allie would probably know from being with a family that pops up there on weekends, or at least being friends with them, it is a mire and swamp full of nasty things, hags, things that live for spite and hatred and conquest.
It's the opposite of friendship.
Yeah, it is the polar opposite of friendship.
In fact, if you're not careful, you have to prepare yourself to enter Velhita. Otherwise, you could even turn against your own friends.
No. Bad.
Yeah, Kiki's like, don't want go. No go.
No, you
No
don't.
go Valhita. No.
It's a cursed place.
Mm-hmm. But it is a plane that thrives on backstabbing and skullduggery and that kind of a thing. And having friendship reconfiguring the Great Conclave would in fact be a Friendmageddon, which that plane probably would not like.
Yeah.
It's the hug apocalypse.
It is.
Yeah, so Balor kind of wipes his hand on his armor. Ugh. Very disgusted by what was in his hand.
Neriel like prestidigitate it away. So yeah, seems like serious business. I hope you kids stay alert and be careful.
Always am.
So Kiki's like, so defend mountain important?
Very.
Very.
I think now more than ever, it's become even more important.
So whatever you've all done to activate it.
Do more? Kiki's like, she wants an action item. She's sort of like.
So Tessa's like, oh, do we just need to make more friends? Like, and like.
Tessa sounds very excited about the prospect.
Oh my god, hands across Ryam. We just need everybody to like.
Kumbaya.
I think so Baldur will look to Neri and go, I think we need to talk to Rin.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that when we get back.
Yeah.
He's like, who's Rin? Who's Rin?
The King of Anshin.
He's like, oh, like, no big deal. Let's go talk to the king.
We were gonna have brunch tomorrow anyway.
Yeah, we'll talk to him then.
Bring it up over, hey, this mimosa's great. Nice job picking this patio. Also, did you know that the Friendpocalypse is happening?
What are your thoughts?
No, it's the Friendmageddon and the Hugpocalypse.
Yeah,
Get it right.
Friendmageddon. The Friendening, I believe, is what he called it.
The Friendening.
Amazing. Because if you can, the other thing is, Invulnerable will look to Tessa and everyone else and goes, I know, Lady Docksworn, I know it's your land and it's the Free Peaks and we don't have any right to anything there.
Okay, yeah, but if it helps me not get that more, I'm all for it.
I think if you want some unsolicited advice, but I think you might have just solicited it.
Please?
Yeah, seeking out different...
Nikki solicits lots of things. Advice being just...
Saucy wink.
I feel like Kiki actually says that out loud.
She solicits lots of things.
She's good at soliciting.
Seeking out... there are people in the world, nations, groups that would be extremely happy to have the Grand Conclave come back. And I think seeking them to aid you in its reconstruct. He's not sure of the right word because it's a temple to a sheep god under a mountain.
Friendening.
Friendening, yeah, the friendening will probably help things.
Any particular suggestions?
There's down south, Doshna Rawl will certainly help. From our friends, the dwarves of Duraheim and Volcani, the Minotaurs of Thunderblade are very diplomatic, and this seems like right up their alley. There is the Federation of Houses, but they are a little bit of a bickering bunch. The various city-states of Shantha, the Lizard Folk down in the Thousand Isles. There's lots of people. I think the new Empress of Lasana and the Old Human Empire, this might be something that they would be interested in. We might...
So we just ask if they want to join an upcoming council?
So Tessa, as Fran's champion, it is sort of up to you to decide how to approach this. You could form it as, you are forming this first council under her auspices, but, how exactly that's going to look would be, in theory, up to you, and if you extend this to your friends. It's on...
Of course, it's all about friends!
How would you do this? But the first thing might be seeing who would agree to be a part of it. While some of the nations we've told you they might like the idea, there of course is more to do to get people to show up and support it. It's easy to sign a document saying you'll do something. it's different to act upon it.
And while we're out doing this, what about the mountain? Should we be concerned that more people from the Shadowfell or others are going to like attack it or destroy it?
Well, and he looks to his wife with your blessing, Lady Doxborn. I believe there's a few of us down south that would be more than happy to come to help, offer you security in the mountain. I know a friend of ours, she is actually the queen of your closest city, doesn't bear any love for the fell, and I'm sure she'd be willing to help.
We laughed at that.
We have friends in different places in the Falklands that would be willing to lend aid to securing it and making sure it stays secured. Do you have any forces there currently?
Nikki starts to say no. She's like, no. Yeah?
We put the geckos there.
They're surprisingly effective.
They really are.
Our elite squad.
We're the strongest warriors.
Only the strongest.
Only the strongest.
Defend the mountain.
Valinor looks terrified at this prospect. Neri is having an egasm, probably. And all the cute little bastards that Tessa has written home about.
Oh, they're in danger. It's like Ralph Wiggum.gif.
I'm in danger.
Gex gang, you in danger.
With your permission, and Valinor just takes a very deep kind of breath as if he has seen shenanigans such as these in his lifetime, and he's usually been the one to try to help solve things. Oh, it's the prophecy wars all over again with Thea and fucking Devon. With your permission, Lady Doxborn, if we might send a contingent north to help the geckos in their security duties, he says.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be amazing for tourism. Yes, yes, yes. Can you seriously, like, security from Neri and Valinor themselves? Oh my gosh, this is going to be a good one.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have to be up there anyway to go to Murtown and visit the den there, so it's on the way.
Oh yeah, we do have to do that.
We're in Murtown right now. If you want to just
are we?
pop
He says,
over,
like, looking around.
Oh, that's convenient. I forgot where we are.
There's like 2 blocks that way. If you want to just pop in and knock that one out.
Yeah, might as well while we're here.
Yeah, Valinor sort of sighs as if he's now had to drive somewhere to get like some piece of furniture with his wife, and he's like, all right, let's just do this.
Right. I handed my purse.
Amazing.
He takes it.
Sorry, not to diminish you two or anything, but any chance either of you are going to be on Mir in the relatively near future? If not, I'll just send it by regular mail.
I'm sure we will be.
We can take something for you if you wish.
Allie hands over the letter. It's for my dad.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Of course. We'll see that he gets it right away.
I feel like Neri takes it, then has Valinor put it in her purse. Then he's holding it. He slings it over his shoulder, and the two walk off. These two arc fucking angels of a sex goddess just kind of walk out into the street, fully winged, everything's kind of happening.
Oh, there's no shame. It's
they're just heading out. They're making their way downtown, walking past.
Faces past, and I'm homebound.
Faces past? Yeah, okay.
Well, it seems like we're all connected by this mountain now.
Seems like it.
He's like, and friendship.
And friendship.
I
think we have a lot of work to do.
Mm-hmm.
Kiki starts sketching out defense plans for the mountain, which are very similar to the ones she did for the geckos, like barn or whatever. So they're a little like slapdashy, like like ball bearings, and they're very, very. And there are a few.
How many trebuchets?
I know.
Deb, when you said, "Well, I guess there's a lot to do," I just had like these visions of like like HGTV style like mountain home improvement
Yes.
montage.
Curb appeal.
Yes.
This mountain doesn't have enough closets. These aren't
Yeah,
marble
like
countertops.
a jazzy little soundtrack to like a like stop motion, like putting up wallpaper and like
With this mountain.
yes, exactly.
Fun fact, HGTV, the reason why so many of their house flipping expeditions or like repair things involve knocking down a wall and opening up a room is because the HGTV executives think that men won't want to watch it if there aren't walls being knocked down during home renovations.
I find that sexist because I also like those.
Yes, thank you.
Aren't you the
Yeah, I
one
was gonna say, why
knocking
not
down
just
walls in your home
people
now? Like-
will watch it more if
People,
there's
like,
walls
see
being
shit
destroyed.
fucked
Demo is fun.
up. Anyway, gaffers.
Kiki makes a note to remove as many doors as possible so that Tessa's not inhibited as she goes.
We want a
Open
completely open floor plan.
concept.
Open
as much as
concept.
she can.
Any other business in Murtown before we move on?
I'm gonna go back to Nelson and see if she's still there.
She is still just assed out asleep.
Oh,
Yeah, this did not take that long. This took like,
Yes.
maybe like an hour or two.
okay. I will
You do have
take
the
my
note
note.
very gingerly placed there.
I'm gonna take the note back and just put that in a pocket
Stealth
and
check,
like
please.
say goodbye like a normal person. A what check?
Stealth check.
Oh, stealth check.
Stealth check.
The top face on this dice is a little wonky. It's fine. It's definitely an 8. I thought it was cocked, but it's not. So that's a 15 total.
Okay, now spot your ass.
Fair.
She's like, "Yeah, I got the note." She says, kind of rolling over.
Oh, I was kind of hoping you were still asleep. And I could just take that back and say goodbye like a normal person, but at least you're still here, so that's actually probably better. Yeah, so there was
Are you
an
gonna
attempt
ask-
on my life this morning.
By the way, did you get pulled into the Shadowfell last night? Was it just me? Like, does it normally happen with sex with you? Like-
Yeah. You should really warn people about that. No. She's gonna be like, yeah, so someone kind of tried to kill me this morning again.
This is a
So I
common
think-
thing with you now. Asks, like, kind of increasingly growing, becoming concerned.
Historically, no, but it's like the second time in the last 2 weeks. So some shit's afoot, so we're gonna have to head back home, I think. And deal with whatever the fuck all of that is. But anyways, I had a just absolutely fantastic time. Do you know when you're gonna be in town next?
I'm not. The ship's sailing out tomorrow, and we're heading back home.
It's not like a regular run.
No, we're exploratory. We're not. We haven't established trade routes.
Well, do you ever want to visit the Free Peaks? There's going to be a really good spa in a couple months.
Okay, and if you're ever in Winfer, you can come to the capital, and I would happily show you the grand temples.
That'd be great, actually. Is Winford cool with like tourism? Is that a thing? I don't know a lot. Like, I don't want to be weird about it, but like,
She says you're
know very little about
you're
Winford.
woman, you're fine.
Cool. Knew I should have stuck with that card. Yes.
She ends
Okay.
it by, she kind of gives you a kiss, big hug.
This is
Sees
a
you
big
out.
hug, big kiss.
Yeah, sees you out the door.
All right.
You folks.
Give her a
Yep.
little personal rain cloud on my way down the street.
Anyone else doing anything in Murtown besides this sad scene?
I mean, Allie's gonna say bye to her dude.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
sometime.
lot livelier. When,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
She's like, so it's in a murder.
Hey,
attempt.
great fuck. Catch you later. Bye.
It's like, Yeah, he walks up and he's like, yeah, and he just like throws up for a high five.
I likes to jump a little bit for it because she's short and he's a werewolf, but
Yeah.
On the flip
that's
side,
hard for her
monk.
to. Actually, no,
Allie's got hops.
Allie's gonna do the thing that Allie traditionally does with tall people, which is she's going to climb him and then high five him.
Yeah.
This is also a thing that Kate does IRL.
And he's like, oh, we're looking for another run from last night, I see. And he gives you a big wink.
Let me get a day of walking straight first, and then let's talk.
It's the fun in that.
If you're ever up in the Free Peaks, hit me up.
You mean like where we are now? In the Free Peaks?
Again, I mean.
Yeah.
Nice try, though. A for effort.
No problem. Yeah, I think I will. I heard you're attached to some lady. We saw you with the big titty tiefling come in. Did you see that other
Which
one?
one? There's a couple of those.
Yeah, no. Did you see that one? And he like points out towards the Badger's Den where like they're doing the photo op and everything.
That's my aunt.
He has mixed feelings about that.
He's very amused by his mixed feelings about that.
Like he's trying not to be gross, but he's like,
The conflict of like, kind of hot. Life's not a porno.
It's like, I'm just gonna say she's got huge jugs. I'm just gonna say it now because it's a fact.
You wanted something even better?
Yeah.
She stores baked goods in them.
He goes into like that, like shocked. Like you ever boop a dog in the nose? You're just like, what? He's very confused.
They're always fresh.
Oh my gosh. Having Tessa and then having Neri show up is literally like I got this new anime plot.
Yes.
There's this adventurer, except she's got huge boobs. I mean, some serious hunger. What happens next? Her aunt shows up. Even bigger bunk on a hoog.
Anyway,
It's
where
a
are you
totally
going
unique
next?
plot.
And
Totally
even
unique plot.
bigger
Never been done.
pastries.
And even bigger pastries.
We're going to need bigger buns.
What was that, Kate? Before the titty joke started.
Anyway, where are you sailing to next?
We're actually heading down to the Thousand Isles. The captain has a contact down there. He wants to talk about something about, the senators are always making deals for delivering some missive or something. I should not be telling you this, he says, thinking about talking about his diplomatic mission with some chick he just slept with.
If we had a little more time, I'd tell you you'd have to persuade me to keep quiet about it. As is. Have fun.
Okay. He does. He does give you a kiss. It's not as tender as the other couple's kiss. And he kind of gives you a bit of a butt grab and says like, "Oh, I'm gonna come find you," and then he heads off. He has to get to his ship before it leaves. Yep. You folks head down. You get back on the road back to the Colback estate. It takes you a couple of days. The road is very smooth. You have to stop a couple of times, but no weird dreams, no weirdness, Nikki. However, as you arrive, Wagger Dagger is in a fucking crazy tizzy. As you see on your lawn is a like sort of Alice in Wonderland-esque tea setup. There are some eaten cookies, there are teapots, a whole bunch of things. And he's like, "Madam, oh goodness, you're back, thank God. We have royalty here. It's I don't know where they came from."
Whoa. Oh, okay. From where?
From the south. There's a huge tiefling man and his wife, and then a smaller woman who just so many knives, just so many. There's just like she wears them in like a bandolier on her chest sometimes. It's and then there's another one of those. There's a fox woman, kind of like Lady Allie, but it's so many. They're all queens and kings, and it's we don't have enough. He's just kind of freaking out about being a good. He's out of his mind.
Take a deep breath. They're all really nice, and all of them love bacon.
Can confirm.
If you need a stall for time, just make an appetizer that involves bacon, and everyone will be happy.
Look, he just moves. He bolts into the kitchen.
Right, so it appears that all of Dushnaral's royalty is currently on your estate, by the way.
Okay, that's not Good thing it's. Oh boy.
It's fine. I'm closely related to one of them and distantly related to another one, so.
Yeah,
It's a
they're all
good thing
really
that's
nice.
not stressful with serious
Except for all of
implications
them.
for
Yeah,
my
they're all
future
great.
as a landlady, or this would be really fucking stressful.
Technically, there's a buffer between you and them as far as landladies go.
Okay, yeah, true, but like still.
Look, don't worry. It'll be fine. They're super nice.
In the
A little bit
distance-
of Phyllis's distress, you can see, has like very clearly bled off into Nikki.
And in the distance, you just hear this huge rumbling voice, Tessa, as this massive tiefling, I think like Reinhardt, but much younger, with big old ram horns, just sort of comes stomping over. Is that little Tessa?
I like how I'm little.
You are a
He
little
is
bit.
bigger than you.
Comparatively.
Comparatively.
This is Rin, right?
King Rin, yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. And I'm just like, oh, it's so good to see you. And I just kind of like have to jump up to hug him, which is an odd sight because I'm also like 6'5".
Yeah, and he picks her up and just spins her in a circle like I could spin Kate. Like it is a startling sight how strong this man must be.
Well, I
So good to see you, little one.
I guess what I mean, Aunt Neri said you guys would be helping. I just didn't think it would be quite this soon, and all of you guys at once. Wow.
Well, not with the temple. Your other aunt insisted on coming up here as quickly as possible. She wanted to go exploring. Honestly, there's some gala she's probably avoiding, but such is the life of the royals. I think she's around here somewhere. She's probably somewhere very high, he says, looking to the rooftops.
You don't actually see her. What you do see, however, is Allie notices something, immediately shifts into fox form, and she and a small black cat immediately start chasing each other around. The cat occasionally seems to just blink and appear behind Allie in fox form, which makes for a particularly hilarious chase.
I would like
the cat.
Robert and
Okay, go ahead. You gotta make
to
the rolls.
Arcana checks or nature checks.
Okay.
Arcana 27.
Okay, Kiki.
Oh, 1 second. I'll do it old school. 16.
Okay, Kiki, that's a very odd cat. You should try to like kind of catch it and sketch it. Nikki, that's a fucking displacer beast kitten. It's got tentacles on its back.
Ah!
Kiki kind of shrugs. She wanders off to go find the Gix gang because she figures Nikki will need extra help with all these other visitors around.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, they could help with all the things like taking luggage and serving things. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. So she wanders off to go find the
Kiki,
Gix.
the first person you run into is Phil.
Oh, hi Phil. Yes. And then Kiki mimics the sound right back at him. Mm-hmm. She figures this is sort of like bonding. She's like, visitors, can Gex gang help? Help with things? Yeah, okay. She goes, visitors, hi muckety muck. And then she like winks like.
So you see him go into it. He takes off his day-to-day cloak and puts out a slightly cleaner cloak and puts on.
Does he flip it inside out? Is it
reversible?
fancier?
He's like, oh, okay. It's got some design started in it, which probably one of the other geckos did for him. But he's like, oh, he turns it around and he puts it. And he like smells it. And he's like,
bow tie. I like a bow tie.
Yeah. Runs off towards the barn, avoiding all the various traps to go get whoever's around.
Kiki returns. She feels she's done her help. Our job helping. I'm doing air quotes. Helping with the visitors.
So Allie and the displacer beast kitten are still chasing each other around. But you do notice that kind of out of nowhere next to King Rin, there is a much smaller than him, fairly light-skinned tiefling, wearing what looks like slightly fancier versions of rogue leathers, but not by much. They mostly just look like rogue leathers with some embroidery on them. She does indeed have what appears to be a bandolier of daggers. A couple of them are glowing a little bit oddly. And she'll kind of just look over at each member of the party, kind of just like looking everybody up and down a little bit, just getting a sense of people.
There's a moment as Rin realizes she's down there and he goes, "Gah! It's fucking Dala every goddamn time."
I grin, or Briseis grins.
Yes. Briseis, you remember Tessa, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah, we saw you like a couple months ago,
not too long ago.
5-6 months ago. Thanks for your
Thereabout.
help, by the way. That was a very
I'm glad.
helping us get the sigil. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I must say, Lady Duxburn, your the head of your household has been quite kind, although I fear that he is going to have a heart attack. He's very stressed. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, all the royalty. He takes his position very seriously. But, and I raise my voice a little bit, he is, as you correctly pointed out, sir, amazing.
You hear a crash in the kitchen, and a lot of old man swears. It's like, "Fidgety fool!" Ah.
I think they might not be used to having royalty that's like so
poodles.
approachable as you guys are.
Well, she's not very approachable. He points to Briseis. I don't even know where the fuck she is most of the time.
When-
I don't know
When
what you're talking about. I'm an absolute paragon of friendliness and approachability.
Speaking of
You
friendliness,
have knives on your chest, literally.
Was being sarcastic.
those are friendship knives.
You are a Benkala, he said.
Nothing brings two people closer than stabbing.
Well, no.
Nikki and Tessa both like raise their fingers, like go to out pedant Perseus for very different reasons.
Briseis raises one eyebrow, making it very clear that she meant that more than one way.
They
I
both
actually think
closed their
Tessa and
mouths.
Nikki meant it the same way.
Possibly. Probably.
If we could, Lady Duxborn, see the mountain with the conclave.
Absolutely, yeah. It's how far is it away? Half a day by walk?
Half a day by
Something
walking.
like
that.
You have mounts. Like they bring out gax, but like
Okay.
these are high quality, highly trained, well bred gax that will move quite quickly.
Oh, don't stable those with our decks.
Is there?
You could see the mountain from Nikki, like where we
you
are.
can see
right?
it. It takes you a while to get
Yeah,
there. Yeah.
Kiki points.
And you
She
can
goes,
see the mountain from her front porch.
Yeah, Kiki's like, mountain there.
Thank you, King.
She's like, what's...
Let me
Welcome.
rephrase that. Could you lead us to where the temple is so we may see it properly?
Oh.
Yeah. Today? What time of day is it?
You probably got back. It's like mid morning, early afternoon.
Okay, so
With
we
mounts,
could
you'll
make it
get
there and back with
much
Gax.
faster. Yeah, you have. Gax.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I'll go get our Gax ready to go. Half an hour?
Sure. I mean, you can ride with us if you would like.
Oh. Nah, they could use the exercise.
Lady Doxborn, if possible, I'd actually like you to ride with me. I'd like you to tell me a bit more about your experience with the Shadow Beast.
Is that
It's
Perseus
very
talking?
clearly not a
It's
request.
talking.
Okay. Tessa,
Mhm.
could you have a couple of the geckos take our Gax out then if we won't be riding
Sure.
them? We haven't
Yeah, we
ridden
can
them
do
in a
that.
couple of days and I don't want
Yeah,
them to
they
get antsy.
They can stretch their legs. That's a good idea.
So the Gax that they've won in their race, you see they have painted. They put like
Nice.
like racing stripes on them to make them
Makes
go
them
faster.
faster.
Yeah.
Nyum.
There's a very lovely
Especially
portrait
apples.
of Phil in like a you know those like old bomber pinups they used to put on like the beach.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Is Phil in a very tasteful position, sipping
Obviously.
a potion.
Paint me like one of your French lizards.
Yeah.
You'd be like one of your French gags.
You folks round everyone up. You head out to the mountain, and you you descend, and you see the along the way Queen Briseis. Would you like to ask Nikki any questions about her experience?
I'm just assuming that Nikki's going to give like the same general gist that she did previously.
Yeah.
Briseis will ask you about any landmarks you potentially saw, if there was anything identifiable about this particular creature, If there was a name or a title given at any point.
Okay. In terms of landmarks, I was in a room. It had a window, gray sun out the window. Not a lot else. Could I see any sort of landscape or anything out the window, or was it just like
It was like a mirror of the inn you were in and the terrain around you.
Okay. So it seemed like it was kind of the Shadowfell-y version of Murtown. It was about the same topology outside the windows. Best, I mean, it didn't look that closely. There's, knife at the thing.
Reasonable. Scoot, does it sound like
certainly
he's
nothing that stood
describing
out.
actually being in the Shadowfell or just being stepped over into the in-between space?
So the Shadowfell can and often does mimic places on the material plane. He probably, but for the sunlight to act like that, he was probably in the fell.
Okay.
He may not have been deep in the fell, but he was probably in the fell, or at least a borderland between the two.
Okay.
In terms of titles, not even an obviously fake name. He did refer to it as Our Mountain. Identifying features, well, I mean, shadow being. I don't really know what counts as distinguishing, so I go into a full description, like the weird retracty arm thing, red eyes, red smile, missing some teeth, right? Or was that the thing in my head?
No, he was missing some teeth.
Yeah. I described that.
I see.
I don't know if that's unique at all.
Dude, is that unique at all?
No, there's a lot of different types of shadowlings, so it could be you may not have run into one like that, but it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Okay. But it's also it's not such a rare feature that it would be like, aha, it must be so and so. Okay.
Nope. It also might have been part of somebody else that they sheared off a piece of their power to create something like not exactly a simulacrum, but something like that to go do something.
Like a herald, basically.
Mm.
Made a little herald over there. All right.
Was there anything else that I missed, Scoot? I don't think so. I think that was it. Yeah.
Right. So you folks get to the cavern, you go down, they see it, they see the conclave, they start moving in. The geckos have cleared out a lot of it.
Oh, nice.
And they've sort of secured in their own way different parts of it.
Don't touch that. Don't touch that. Skip over that tile.
Yeah. And Rin is very impressed by what he's seeing. He goes, no, I think we could certainly support the restoration of this, especially Friend being part of the Alluran Pantheon. He says, looking around.
That sounds great.
Yes, it's just a matter of being allowed to do so, Rin says, because this is not our lands, not our purview, not our jurisdiction. But Miss Lee Doxborn, have you decided who would be the founding members of the conclave? Will it work like it did of old?
Oh, that's a Tessa question.
Oh,
yeah, we were thinking about it a little bit. Obviously, Doshnaral, Thunderblade, Duraheim, possibly Lasana, maybe the Federation or some of the Shanta cities.
how many do you seek?
As many as we can. I think it would be good to have a representative from all countries, though I assume that some may not want to participate.
Some most likely will not. Some will be hesitant until you can prove that you can assemble something, make decisions, and then enforce them.
Right. And Tessa just kind of she's thinking to herself, how do I do this? Oh, geez.
But of course, I cannot speak for Antora, but Anshin, of course, will be here to back you.
That's a start.
Kiki.
That's all we need.
Here.
Kiki leans over to Tessa and goes, fake it till you make it.
I give Kiki a little fist bump.
She bumped.
Briseis throws a bit of a side eye at Ren and says, "Yes, Antara will be here."
Okay. I don't want to speak for you. Lana would be very mad at me. As those two rulers say that, you hear something whirl and come to life. And towards one of the main plazas, a table rises from underneath, like stone slabs, and seats itself in the middle.
I turned to Phil. Is that you? Scoot shook his head.
Shakes his head.
The visual aspect. That was a negatory burp.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
I'll head over to the table. Take a look.
It looks to be, this is like a, looking around now where you are in the middle of like an audience, like an audience, not an audience chamber, like a council area. The table's extremely large and a circle. And as you look around, there are gallery seats. It looks like it's in the middle of an amphitheater where things would be discussed, and Nikki will test the acoustics, and sound travels very far. So this looks like this is where perhaps the council would meet itself.
It's like this place keeps changing and getting bigger the more friends we make.
Friends.
It would seem that way, as like Rin is walking down, looking around. Briseis? You may wish to see this.
Briseis is right behind him and investigating.
Yeah, so by two of the seats, on written in Infernal is the city is written on there is the city of Anshin and the city of Antara.
I'm assuming Infernal for our tiefling heritage.
Probably. That is a lot of the language we speak.
Very considerate friend.
I think these are ours, Ren says, looking at you.
Clearly the little tiny chairs for you.
Obviously. And the big one's for your cat.
No, the whole table is for the cat. Come on, Ren.
Obviously. Well, Tessa, I believe your theory was right, and the more friends you get here, the more we'll open up.
Scoot, wasn't Wick and Memphis here too?
They were at the estate. They did not come with you. They're still there with you.
Okay.
Who's that?
Wasn't it? The king and queen of On Ball, the city that Tessa lives in.
Mhm.
Yep. So there's 3 sets in Dosharal. Well, actually, I'm sorry, not a set. Briseis does it by herself because she's awesome.
She's ace.
Yeah. Rin just thinks about that and he goes, Memphis will be third. He will love that. He laughs. And they nod like, I think you've got your group has quite a lot ahead of them, and that will mean challenges as well.
Oh, we have to consider the Musins and the Falklands too. I forgot about that. I wonder if they'll take part, because they're right next door.
Probably. I would start with the rabbit folk. They are the most diplomatic.
Makes sense.
Would Tessa, and this is Allie, not Briseis, do we think that this is going to be open to beings from other planes too?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Scoot, that this was intended to be a mortal thing.
It's
because
the
people from the Astral Sea aren't supposed to be.
They're not supposed to be here. Although Tessa would know from her dealings that the Fae and the Shadowfell are very closely tied to the mortal plane.
Right, they're like the in between.
Yeah, so you
bits.
think it could be those beings could be here in some capacity, but you're not sure.
But not gods and goddesses.
No, gods cannot be. This is the conclave is for the mortal plane.
It might not be a bad idea to have some Fae and some of the nicer Shadowfell representatives if they are.
Briseis makes a face at nicer Shadowfell representatives. Although Allie does suggest I could reach out to Haven and see if they're interested.
I think something of this grandeur, Ali, would require personal invitations.
I mean, Ebon's dating the future queen of the Crossroads. I think we can make a personal invitation happen.
Probably.
Alternately, oh wait, there's a faster way. I mean, I've already got one member of the royal family who's committed.
It's true.
They look at you like they don't know what's going on, and they're just not going to ask. Well then, I believe we should be. We cannot be away for too long, Briseis. I think we should get back to Miss Doxborn's estate, and just to make sure whatever dinner that lovely old man is going to make, because he seemed quite the fuss about it. He's been frying bacon for what is probably 2 hours. I don't know what he's doing.
Sounds good though.
He seemed like he was panicking. I told him that you guys liked bacon. I figured it would give him something to focus on.
Bryn just laughs.
Am I wrong?
You're not. Lady Doxborn, champion, he says, looking at Tessa. Perhaps with your leave, we shall return.
You're asking me? Sure.
Yes, this is your facility, is it not? He says, like, gesturing to the temple.
It seems really weird. Like, this? Like, I don't want to say that I own this. It's meant for everybody.
Right, but you are its keeper, are you not?
Oh, fair enough. But yeah, let's go before I keep putting my foot in my mouth.
Off you folks go. You head back to the estate where there's a lovely meal, and you found that Waggerdagger the cook has put him to bed because he was actually about to have a heart attack.
Oh, Phyllis. Little guy.
And the geckos they have decided to pitch in at Kiki's request, so they are now all wearing black ties. Mostly just black ties, because they were told this was a thing that is appropriate, but they don't know.
Little bow ties?
Yeah. They're sort of dressed like Chippendales.
Love it.
Like, some of them don't have hats on, but most of them don't have
so
hats on.
good.
But they're little collars and stuff, and they're Tic Tac and Toe bring the bigger trays out, but it's a very kind of whoa, they're not super good as they wobble back and forth and bicker about where to go, so it's kind of like hammering into the walls at certain points. But the meal is had, and the royalty departs the next day.
An interesting couple days.
Yeah, it's been a busy one.
How are you feeling, by the way? And she kind of points to the neck area.
She makes a gesture. With the
After the whole thing.
Thumb across the throat.
smooth, Tessa, smooth.
Mostly I try to ignore it, but it's that awful stage where it catches on my shirt all the time, and
I bet it's itchy.
yeah, it's not great. I might actually just try and nap a lot and
Drink
not
a
have
lot
to
of
think
water.
about it that much.
Drink a lot of water and take a nap.
Yeah.
Just don't wear a shirt.
Nikki looks at Allie and she's like, fucking duh. She just throws her shirt off.
Allie looks very pleased with
We've
herself.
put pants on, but we've lost shirt. Okay, there's a progression.
So it's not actually pants. You see, the character development here is now just only one clothes.
Yeah, you're Yogi bearing it. I get it.
Yeah.
You can't have both.
Can't have both.
And this is where we shall leave our gaffers this week, folks, as they decide which of the world powers to probably go and talk to next to join the Grand Conclave. But from
Still asshole. The asshole cousin.
Yeah, and the asshole cousin situation, and these shadow people, these random folks that want to kill Nikki. Lot going on. What to do with the asshole cousins. But we will see next week. So thank you all once again for coming to Ryam, and we will see you then.